Yo, what is up guys? It's Pedro here, and in today's video I will be recapping everything that happened on day one of the Washington Commanders voluntary workouts, including Terry Mclaurin not expecting to participate in the team's on-field off-season programs, but he is expected to attend them and he will be there tomorrow. Also, Chase Young got back on the field, and also they hired a new head athletic trainer, so we're going to talk about that, and I'll show you guys some clips from today's practice. So if you guys are new, make sure to subscribe for Washington and NFL content, trying to get to 7,500 subscribers. Also hit that like button and turn on those notifications so you never miss a video, and go ahead and follow the Twitter, trying to get to 1,000 followers on there. Now let's get right into the video. Okay, so let me read what Adam Schefter has to say before I let you guys know why I think this is not a big deal. So Adam Schefter said second round picks that include Deebo Samuel, A.J. Brown, and Terry Mclaurin are not expected to participate in their team's on-field off-season programs because they want new contracts at a time this off-season when wide receiver deals have exploded per league sources, and Terry Mclaurin was a third round pick, not a second round pick. And then Adam Schefter says, as a team leader, Terry Mclaurin will still be reporting to the team's off-season program that opens today, while his contract situation remains unresolved per source. So that is what he has to say right there. And I believe I want to pull up the tweet where it says, so Terry Mclaurin was not there today, but he is expected to be there tomorrow. Mclaurin was among those traveling after Easter and arrived too late for today. Charles Leno in that group also expected tomorrow. So the people that are saying, oh, Terry wasn't there today, he's not a great leader, come on. First of all, these are voluntary, and yes, would I rather these guys be here than not? Yes, but first of all, Terry's going to be here. He's just not going to be participating in the on-field workouts, but he's still going to be in the building doing what he needs to do. And this is way different than what Chase Young did last year. And even last year, I didn't think what Chase Young did was a big deal, but Chase Young was doing it coming off of his rookie year. Terry McLaurin is doing this in a contract year, so he wants to get paid, and that is the reason why he's not going to participate in training camp and things until he gets paid, because he doesn't want to get hurt and lose all that potential money. So that is just something that I think he's doing, and I think he has the right to do that, because he doesn't want to lose. If he gets injured, he doesn't want to lose a ton of money. And let's read this right here from John Keim. He says, another reminder on Terry McLaurin. Ron Rivera told me recently they did not start seriously negotiating with John Allen until after OTAs. This presser was on July 27th. Have always expected a similar time frame. Yes, the money has gone silly at wide receiver. He will be shown the cash. Thanks, Christian Kirk, and some others as well, but mostly Christian Kirk. McLaurin is the face of the franchise. They include him in promotional materials. I think it's telling that he'll attend these workouts even if he won't anything when they actually have on-field sessions. I think he said even if he won't do anything, understands his role here as a leader, and I've never sensed anything other than we want him here. Thus concludes your weekly reminder to not panic. And I've been saying this for a while. I don't think it's a huge, I don't think we should be panicking. I think a deal will get done this offseason. I strongly believe that a deal will get done this offseason. I think they would be stupid not to do so. The ball is in their park. They can pay him if they want to. They don't have a ton of cap space, but he's not on the books for a ton this year. It's like $2-3 million. So if they want to pay him, they can definitely pay him and put some more of that money onto this year. And like John Keim said, Jonathan Allen, his deal was done, the day before training camp. Same thing with Logan Thomas. So, or might have been the day of, but I think it was the day before. So Terry's deal I think it will get done, and hopefully it does get done before training camp, so we don't have all that drama where he's holding out. And same thing with OTAs and stuff like that. Hopefully it gets done before that, maybe right after the draft, but probably not. It'll probably get done right around training camp, and really hope it does, because like John Keim said, Terry McLaurin is a face of the franchise. He's a leader. He's going to be here. He's being super professional about it. He knows that his presence is needed there, so I love that he's going to be there with his teammates. And these things right here are really just about conditioning. These voluntary workouts, they're doing some very light football things. Eventually, once they get to mini camps and OTAs, they'll really start to do things that will actually matter, and we'll see if Terry at that point will participate. But he's going to attend, but he won't participate. And who knows if that changes after the draft and things like that, depending on, their contract negotiations there. So that is just something. Do not panic. I think a deal will get done. If it's training camp and a deal hasn't gotten done, then I would start to panic. And if we're, into preseason and a deal hasn't gotten done, then I would be very, very, I don't know. I would not feel good about the situation at that point, but we're still very, very early in the offseason. And I think it's, telling all these receivers, Deebo Samuel, A.J. Brown, Terry McLaurin, Deontay Johnson, and DK Metcalf, they haven't gotten deals done yet. So it's not just Washington. So don't go and blame the staff, their front office. We'll see I feel like once one of these guys gets a deal done, it'll be a domino effect because they're all very similar in terms of their kind of production or the level at what they're going to get paid. Like A.J. Brown might be one of the most talented receivers here, but the injuries have been a little bit of an issue sometimes, drops. Terry McLaurin, been the most consistent. Terrible quarterback play, has been healthy, has produced. Deebo Samuel, this past year had over 1,400 yards receiving. Rushing was a baller there as well. And then DK Metcalf is super talented as well. So I think they'll all get similar amounts of money. Maybe someone gets 2-3 million more than the other, and maybe someone gets, 2 million less. But it's going to be all around the same price. So once one of those deals gets done, I think the others will get done as well. So hopefully Terry's deal is the one that's done first so we can stop worrying about it and lock down our best player. If not him, it's Jonathan Allen. Those guys are the face of the franchise along with Chase Young. Let's hope Chase Young can ball out this year. And speaking of Chase Young, so Washington had almost the whole team in attendance today, minus a couple other players who were traveling in from Easter. Chase Young pushed a sled without a knee brace. Curtis Samuel went through conditioning, and Carson Wentz was there as well. So that's great to see, and I think Chase Young is ahead of schedule with his ACL injury. So you guys see this picture right here. You can see Chase Young kind of pushing a sled with some weights on it. Not a ton of weight, but that is what you want to see, and he wasn't at these, workout sessions last year. So it's good to see, kind of change his mindset and his approach with things, but also you can't even see a brace there, and he's doing, this at this point in his recovery. I think that is a good thing for him, for the Washington Commanders, because it looks like he's ahead of schedule, and I think he will be almost 100% for the start of the season. I mean, you look at Joe Burrow, he kind of had an ACL injury at kind of around the same time in the season as Chase Young did just a year before, and he started off a little bit slow, but he was an animal in the second half of the season, so it might be a little bit more, a little similar to that, but let's hope he can just start balling out from the start of the season. But it's very good news to see him, first of all, see him there, because that was an issue a little bit last year. Like, I wasn't, strongly against it, but again, it's better to have all your players there than not have them there, especially when there's no contract issue. That's a different story because these guys want to get paid, and that's the case with Terry McLaurin, but he's still there. And then Curtis Samuel, nothing major. He went through conditioning. If he didn't, that's when you would be like, okay, he might not play this year. But him being there, going through conditioning, that's good enough for me. And we'll see once they actually start doing the football things. If he's there 100%, then that is going to be really good for Washington because you can count on him being a solid number 2 for us, kind of that slot gadget guy that we kind of need. And then Carson Wentz was there as well, so that is great news. So the only players that we know that weren't there, Charles Leno and Terry McLaurin, but they're just traveling back because I think Charles Leno lives in Texas, if I'm not mistaken, and then Terry's somewhere else, maybe he was training or was in Indiana where he grew up, and he was with his family on Easter likely, and then he's traveling back. So, he's back tomorrow. That is great news that he's there at least. And yeah, that's kind of the wrap up on the voluntary practice or workout update. Now real quick on Washington hiring new athletic trainer Al Bellamy. So I'll read this right here from Ben Stanig. The Washington Commanders announced the hiring of Al Bellamy as head athletic trainer. Bellamy spent the past 9 years on the college level at Temple, but he has 25 years of prior NFL experience. He was on Washington's staff for the 1991 Super Bowl champs, so the Redskins 91 team, and then he also worked with the Lions, and he started with Washington in 1988. So these guys love to hire guys with prior connections to the team or themselves, and Marty Herney was with the team, I believe, in that period of time. So they got the connection there. Martin Mayhew, of course, has a connection with the Lions, who Al Bellamy, I believe, worked with at the same time as Martin Mayhew. But let's hope he can get the job done. I mean, his resume is incredible. I mean, working at Temple with all those different. It wasn't just football. I believe it was their whole collegiate, their athletic department, and then he worked with the Lions and Washington as well. So that's good to have a lot of experience. That's what you want. And let's hope we have less injuries than we had last year, where we really had no athletic trainer for the whole season. The year before, though, with Ryan Vermillion, it was pretty good, comparing to Larry Hess the last few years, where it was awful. It was awful. So good that we finally hired a guy, but it's too late. It's really too late. 10 days into the draft, I'm really hoping this guy has been already been looking at these prospects in terms of their injury, issues, because we've already met with some of these guys before we even hired him. And what's the point? So that's why I think we're not going to, take that many risks on injured players. Maybe we will, because we just hired someone and we still have 10 days. But I don't know. I think they really should have tried to hire someone earlier. And, we'll see if they do take any risks in this year's draft in terms of guys like James Williams, John Mechie, maybe Carson Strong in the 4th-ish round. But yeah, guys, so let me know what you guys think about this Terry McLaurin situation. Don't think it's a big deal. If a deal isn't done by training camp, that's when it starts to become a bigger deal. And then good to see Chase Young and Curtis Samuel back there, and we'll see their availability once we get into more football things like training camp, mini camp, OTAs, things like that. So thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please hit that like button, subscribe if you guys are new, and turn on those notifications so you never miss a video. Peace, guys.